One day, a famous consultant was speaking to a group of business professionals, and to drive home a point, used this illustration. As he stood in front of a group of high-powered overachievers, he said, "Okay, time for a test." Then he pulled out a 1-gallon, wide-mouthed mason jar and set it on a table in front of him. He produced many fist-sized rocks and carefully placed them, one at a time, into the jar. When the jar was filled to the top and no more rocks would fit inside, he asked, "Is this jar full?" Everyone in the group said yes. Then he said, "Really?" He reached to grab a packet of gravel. Then he dumped some gravel in and shook the jar, causing pieces of gravel to work themselves down into the spaces between the rocks. Then he smiled and asked the group once more, "Is the jar full?" By this time, the audience was onto him. "Probably not," one of them answered. "Good," he replied, and he reached for a bag of sand. He started dumping the sand in, and it went into all the spaces left between the rocks and gravel. Once more, he asked the question, "Is this jar full?" "No," the class shouted. Once again he said, "Good." Then he grabbed a pitcher of water and began to pour it in until the jar was filled to the brim. Then he looked up at them and asked, "What is the point of this illustration?" One eager beaver raised his hand and said, "The point is, no matter how full your schedule is, if you try really hard, you can always fit some more things into it." "No," the speaker replied, "that's not the point. The truth this illustration teaches us is, if you don't put the big rocks in first, you will never get the rest in at all."
From the standpoint of being a good leader, the big rocks in the mason jar represent two things: what you must do personally to maintain a character of integrity, and what you must do regularly and consistently to demonstrate that you are committed to being a high-quality leader. The gravel, sand, and water represent all other things that you are responsible for. But for now, we will focus on what your big rocks are. How do you turn this off?